One of the least stacked pay-per-views of recent years is in the books, with a weak lineup of fighters in regards to star power, headlined with 2 title fights, with middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis defending his title against the man he took the title from, Sean Strickland, and Zhang Weili looking to defend her spot atop the strawweight division against undefeated contender Tatiana Suarez. Could UFC 312 deliver an exciting night of fights even with the lack of star power? Let's find out. This is the Fight Franchise and the recap and review of UFC 312. The first fight of the night saw Anshul Jubli take on Quillan Salkild, where one huge right hand in the first 20 seconds sent Jubli crashing down to the canvas, where the ref jumped in. An explosive start to the card, though some called it an early stoppage, but a great win by Salkild. Next up, Kevin Jose took on Jonathan Metcalf, where both guys had a back and forth scrap where Metcalf stole the first 2 rounds and Jose fought back late, but Metcalf done enough to win the decision. Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu was next, where both guys started off tentative after some back and forth wrestling, picked up the pace landing huge shots, with Zhu getting the better of the exchanges, which continued into the second round where he would do the better in a back and forth scrap where Steele tried to come back, where they scrapped to the final bell where Zhu won in a really fun bout by both men. That brought the end to some fun early prelim action. The prelim started with Alexander Topuria, older brother of champ Ilya, taking on Colby Thickness, where the hyped Topuria would do the better across all 3 rounds to defeat the short notice Thickness, who gets his UFC career off to a good start. Let's just see if he can follow in his brother's footsteps. A women's flyweight bout next, where Wang Kong took on Bruna Brazil, where in a fight with not the most exciting action, Kong would be the busier and the better across all 3 rounds to win a decision. Next up, Vyacheslav Borshev and Tim Nolan went head to head, where on the feet and on the ground Nolan was doing the better work, landing ground and pound and looking for submissions, and striking back and forth on the feet, where Nolan won the well-deserved decision. A featherweight bout next, where Jack Jenkins took on Gabriel Santos, where in a competitive bout, Jenkins landed big early, dropping Santos and landing ground and pound, where off his back Santos tried looking for a triangle. Santos fought back in the first, but Jenkins would steal round 1 off his early work. Round 2, Santos came back and won the round with control in the grappling, where in the third round, after stunning Jenkins with a front kick, Santos would take down Jenkins and would secure the rear naked choke to get the brilliant win and the second finish of the card. The main card began with Jake Matthews and Francisco Prado, where across a 3-round fight, Matthews did the better work on the feet to win a decision. The next fight, Rodolfo Bellato took on Jimmy Crute, where in a wild first round where after a failed takedown by Bellato, Crute would land some ground and pound where he just dominated Bellato, who got up back towards the end of the round where Crute dropped Bellato in what was most certainly a 10-8 round. The second round, Crute came out sharp as Bellato was still recovering from round 1, where Bellato got back in the fight as Crute slowed down, where in a close round which could have gone to either man, but the optics favoured Bellato. The final round, a tired Crute whose legs was battered from Bellato's calf kicks was failing with the takedowns and shots on the feet, where Bellato would steal the final round where the fight was a majority draw, which was the right call. Justin Tafa welcomed the debuting Talison Teixeira, where pressure from Teixeira early got Tafa against the fence, where Teixeira landed a huge shot to slump Tafa, where a few follow-ups and the ref called it. Tafa protested, but the way it was looking was the right call, which was an amazing win and debut for Teixeira. Let's hope he does well and not end up like another Rebellas to Spain. The co-main event saw the undefeated and talented Tatiana Suarez take on Weili Zhang, where Suarez was the favourite going into the bout, and many thought this was finally the time she would become the champion, and it was looking that way with the first round Suarez getting Weili Zhang down to the ground and controlling her but not securing much damage. Zhang would get back up and reverse the position a bit too late, and Suarez would take round 1 with little to no damage secured. Round 2, Suarez chased more takedowns, but Weili managed to stuff them and kept the fight standing and would piece up Suarez on the feet to get back into the fight, and this would become the story across rounds 3, 4 and 5, with Zhang's skill and athleticism too much for Suarez, who struggled to secure the takedowns, getting pieced up on the feet and even getting taken down herself, where Zhang comfortably won 49-46 to defend her belt, with many people now wanting her to face Valentina Shevchenko for the chance to become champ. The main event was a rematch of the main event of UFC 297, with Sean Strickland looking to reclaim his belt from the man who took it from him, Dricus Du Plessis. With animosity and respect going into the bout, we was promised a war and we got nothing of the such, and just a one-sided beatdown by the end of the fight, with Sean Strickland not throwing nearly as much output as the last fight and getting pieced up by damaging shots from DDP, who was just more creative and the busier of the two on the feet, where Strickland would just let the fight get by. We would reach round 4 where DDP shatters Sean Strickland's nose and would comfortably comfortably pull away from his rival in the octagon, and the 5th round DDP pitched another shutout round where Strickland would show no urgency and lost the bout 50-45. A lackluster bout, as we was promised a war from Strickland, who never really showed up, who was probably affected by the staph infection. As for DDP, it is Khamzat Chimaev next, which we all want to see, which he has a really great chance in winning. That brought the end to an interesting and fun night of fights. The early prelims and prelims had some really fun bouts with some great back and forth wars and scraps, and even a great submission from Gabriel Santos and Quinlan Salkill securing the most viral moment of the night. The main card had fun fights, especially Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato, and a quick finish from Talison Teixeira. The main and co-main event, however, let this card down, with the challengers of the title fights having lackluster performances and not putting up a good showing to try and steal the belt. If we was to grade this card, it gets a C+. A fun card with fun fights, just let down by the co-main and main event not being competitive enough. Up next, the king of the UFC returns with the toughest test of his career.